You are listening to the Unleashed and Aligned podcast, where we strip away the noise, unleash our truth, and align with our highest self. I'm your host, Felicia Dom, certified life coach, Reiki practitioner, and chakra guide, here to help women find deep love and interconnection within themselves. This podcast is here to increase awareness, inspire your journey, and educate you as you reclaim your energy and rise fully into who you are. Check the show notes for links to my healing circle, coaching, and more ways to work with me. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Welcome back to the Unleashed and Aligned podcast. I am here with Michelle Spexarth. She is a trauma-informed coach who has also homeschooled her 5 children. Her expertise with narcissistic abuse, coaching, and children has led her to create the coaching program called Heal You, Heal Your Kids. She is the author of Small Shifts, a book about making small changes for a happier life, and she is the leader in the Soul Survivors Facebook group, where she teaches regularity about healing from narcissistic abuse and how to raise healthy, well-adjusted kids despite the abuse. Welcome to the podcast, Michelle.
Thank you for having me, Felicia.
All right, tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into the coaching space.
Okay, so I was married for 18 years and had 5 children, homeschooled the whole time. And I divorced 7 years ago because I was to a point where I felt like I don't know what more to do in my marriage to make it a healthy one. I felt very hopeless. And so I left. And there was a lot of emotions. There was a lot of stuff that came up for me that was very painful. I always knew that I just wanted to love on the people. And I didn't know how to make something of that. But after going through everything that I had, I was just like, these people, I can help these people because I staggered through it, stumbled through it, drug myself through, and now I know the way. And so I can help others with that. So I got certified in coaching, and I've been coaching for about 2 years now with people in that because I really just feel like that's where my passion is. And that's where I want to help people just to get back into a place where they feel healthy and fantastic about their lives.
Awesome. And I love that you created this book, Small Shifts, because I work with people and they want to make these like large leaps. And if they don't, they tend to stay stuck. And so I love that title, Small Shifts. So, what kind of prompted you to create that book?
The thing that prompted me to create this book was that I don't know about you, but I have had these books where it's 30 days to this and 30 days to that. And so you're supposed to read something every single day. And it's great. They're fantastic books. The problem is that if I miss a day or two, I feel like garbage about myself. So, like, the entire book just destroyed itself for me because I am more mentally abusing myself because I didn't stay on track.
Mhm.
And so I also wanted people to be able to look at just some tiny things that they could do in their lives to make a difference and just to feel better about life. And so this book was set up, it's got 20 chapters, and each chapter is a page and a half to 2 pages long. So it's very simple. And if you miss a day, then it doesn't matter. Just let it go. It's perfectly fine. And if it takes you 6 months to read this book, that's fine. Or if it takes you a month, or if it takes you 20 days. But each day has just simple things that you can work on in order to improve your life. If you have the view of life is 50-50, then you're not looking at, oh, my life is complete garbage, or my life is nothing ever happens that's bad to me. And then when something does, you're like so devastated by it because you just think that you're supposed to live 100% in this
Mhm.
happy place. And that's just not true. I have a chapter on gift giving and on how when you give a gift that seriously, you just let it go. If you don't get a thank you card, if they don't even say anything to you, it's not their responsibility to do anything like that, that when you give that gift, that you give it with your pure intention of, "I love you, here you go,
Yes.
and I'm done." Because so many times we're like, "They didn't write me a thank you card, and they didn't even say thank you, and they didn't do this," and so
Mhm.
we totally destroy the gift that we just gave.
We're, like, looking
Right.
for something in return.
A validation.
Yep, yep. Yeah. I
Yeah.
sounds like a beautiful book, I love that. So I'm gonna dive into our questions, and the first one is, when did you realize you were playing small or holding yourself back?
When I was so caught up in all of the garbage thinking that I was doing that I could not even see straight enough to create anything for myself. I wanted to make an impact on the world, but I was so caught up in all of the poor thinking that I was doing that I couldn't even make an impact because every time that I speak something kind to somebody, I would go home and mentally abuse myself.
Mm.
And it was like, I have got to change this because I am trying to be good for others and I'm not even any good for myself. And I realized I've got to change that. And so that's when I started the work on myself in order to be able to help others in a better way.
I love that answer, and I think that it's so amazing that we recognize that and then we make the shift because it was in a similar, but it was about myself and I'm not good at this. I'm not no good for this. And I was so in a space where it was mentally abusive that I was like,
Yeah.
I need to find a way to stop this because I basically hate my life. And I know that there's people out there loving their life. So how do I have that? And I'm happy that our brains or maybe our downloads from our guides or spirit or the universe says, click, there's a different way. And
Yeah.
so that's always fascinating because we can be in that space for a very long time and not have that shift. And so
Right.
I think that's awesome that that occurs and it reminds me of how I felt. And so what did you have to let go of in order to become more of who you are today?
Let go of. So I think about you have to let go of, and I had to let go of the garbage talk in my brain. And it wasn't simple. It was, it came down to as I was hearing these negative things that I was speaking in my mind, I was listening for the voice that was saying it. And for me, it wasn't my own voice that I heard, it was other people's voices. And so I had to be willing to, every time I heard them, to speak to myself about what is true. And so I had to let go of their voices in my mind and start hearing my own voice and speaking positivity and life and love into myself. But I had to let go of those because they're not true. It's what they wanted me to believe about myself, but it wasn't true about myself.
So if somebody has like a similar, if they're listening to this and they were like, I have those voices, but I don't know how to make them stop. What's like a small, like your book, a small shift or a
Yeah.
small, just a small piece that will help them have that ability to start to turn it around?
The first thing that you need to do is be aware. You need to stop and pay attention to the voices. That's the first step. Because when you can see who it is or hear who it is that is speaking to you, I will not 100%, but pretty close to 100% guarantee you that was a negative influence and a negative impact on your life. The voice that you hear. And when you hear that voice, you can call it out and you can say, "Stop. I know that the things you're telling me are what you want me to believe about myself, and they are not true. I am kind. I am gentle. I am loving." And you affirm yourself. And it's almost like you have to argue with that person that's playing in your head because what happens is that minimizes their power over you when you do that. It takes a process. It's not like, bam, oh, I did it. Okay, we're good now. They're going to continue they playing. They played for probably many years, and
Mhm.
it will take time for you to fix that within your brain.
Yeah, and I think it's important, like you said, because they've played so long in your head, you've developed those really fine neural pathways that are stuck.
Yes.
And they want to, your brain is a machine. It's, oh, this equals this. And so
Mhm.
those, to rewrite those pathways, like you said, it's
Yep,
taking
yep.
the time to have awareness and to shift that and redirect that so that you can start to build new pathways. And I love what you're saying because anything we do, it's like people, if they're thinking, I'm not good enough, it's in, or I'll never be able to love myself. It's, yeah, you're able to do anything because it's just like a muscle that we're trying to build.
Yes.
It takes a process and it takes time to build muscle. You can't build muscle overnight, and you have to have a system, that you go to the gym and you're working it out a certain volume, certain days of the week. And it's the same thing with anything we do in life, whether we're learning a new skill, when this, in my opinion, is a new skill, we are working at it and we're not beating ourselves up if we miss a day, but we are also actively trying to be more aware every single day of it and then
Absolutely.
redirect that. And so I love that
Absolutely.
answer. What advice would you give to someone trying to find more of that connection with themselves?
I love being in nature,
Mm.
and I so believe that going out and taking a walk in the woods or in a field or any place out in nature, even if you just go sit in a tree or under a tree or, on a blanket out in the middle of a field, anything like that, when you sit there, you just notice the things that around you, the what you feel, how you're feeling within yourself, and start really like connecting with yourself, because when we can do that, then we can really measure where we are and what we would like to change about ourselves. One exercise that I teach is to get in touch with your body, and that's just to sit quietly. And it can be in a field or it can be in your chair at home or wherever, and just to check in. Okay, how does my head feel? How do my arms feel? How do my shoulders feel? My back, my chest, my legs? And just to do a check in. And the reason that you do this is because this teaches you to be aware of yourself, of your body. Because when we can do that, then we are able to start building that trust with ourselves. We bring peace to ourselves. We start teaching our bodies that we're going to be there and that we're going to figure the things out that we could figure out no matter what comes up. So that's where I like to go with those things.
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love nature and I love what you're saying. And what I do when I'm on my walks is I used to bring my phone all the time and I would be like reading emails, looking up, just totally distracted. And I was like, "Yeah, I need to release the devices and like because
Oh,
I'm either on my computer or on my phone, like working. And I've been leaving my phone at home now. And I've been actually tuning into wherever I'm walking. Like I feel the
yes.
sun on my face. I feel the wind. Where is the wind hitting on my body?
Yeah.
And what do I hear? How beautiful is the music that the birds are singing to me right now? And in that space, do like journal gratitudes and when I walk sometimes I'll do gratitudes. But I find that I can be in a state of tremendous gratitude when I'm like fully present and like feeling all the things.
Right.
I'm like, wow, how beautiful is this? How beautiful is the noises that I hear, the sun beating on me, the wind hitting me, the rain hitting me, whatever it is, I just become in this like really powerful gratitude state. And I absolutely love what you're saying too, because from that state, I can then start like checking in with my body.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, wait, how am I fit? Because I'm now in a better state and I feel more grateful. And then I'm like, okay, how's my day going? How am I feeling today? What are we and I'm, like, in the more emotional, but yeah, like, checking in with my body throughout the day and just feeling what's going on is such a powerful way to connect back to ourselves,
Right.
and I think inner trust within ourselves is a huge, huge thing. I used to have such distrust And now I'm like, "Oh, I'm my best friend. I gotta be my cheerleader. I don't need anybody else in my corner but me
Right.
because I'm the one moving and grooving."
And you're responsible for you,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
and you don't need to have somebody else to come in and whatever so that you know what you need to do because
Yeah,
you've got you.
yes, yes. I love that. That's such great advice. So when you're feeling a little stuck or maybe disconnected, like we all go through, what do you do to get that realignment back within yourself?
I think that when I'm feeling disconnected from myself, that I'll take myself out into nature or I will sit quietly with myself. And I do try to create that space daily to have that connection with myself, just to make sure I start my day on the right page. Sometimes during the day, though, you can feel yourself and you just need to remove yourself from wherever you are and just take a minute. And one of the tendencies I have is I will hold my breath
Yeah, me too.
and yeah, and so I'm like, "Oh, okay, breathe, just breathe. That's gonna help." And so that's a perfect place to start is make sure you're breathing. That's
Yeah.
good. My heart will pound when I am feeling that disconnect from myself, and so I will consciously just sit and I will take those deep breaths in order to bring myself down. Sometimes I just need a little nature walk and then I can come back. But breathing and just, like, reconnecting with myself and making sure that I am in a good space by just taking a minute to get by myself and bring myself back to the place that I wanna be.
That's such great advice. My last question on here is what does unleashed and aligned mean to you personally?
Unleashed and aligned for me, think I would say that when I am aligned, it means that I am in connection with, and we can call it whatever we want, God, the universe. I know all of us call it different things. I feel like that I have that good connection with God and that I trust that whatever I walk into, whatever happens in my life, that I'm going to know, and maybe not even know, but I'm going to figure out whatever I need to do. And it might be messy and it might end up being a train wreck and it might end up being beautiful. However, it looks in that moment that it's all going to be okay and that I don't have to do anything perfect ever. That it's still going to work for the good of me.
I love that answer. I think that it's a hard space to come to, especially for like perfectionists, where you're like, this is for me, no matter what it is. Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I always try to remember this quote by, I think it's Matt Karn. How is this a gift? I think that's what he says. With whatever comes up in your life, it's look at it as like, how is this a gift? If something really traumatic happens or something doesn't go your way, you can look at it and say, like, how is this a gift? How is this really
Yes.
serving me and for me? And I think that's a beautiful way to look at life.
I think when you look at that like that too, is that the stress that you have that goes with that is going to be so much less than, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening to me." Because when it's happening to you, it's like an attack.
Yeah,
But when it's happening for you, you're like, "Oh, okay." And your body is open to being able to look for answers also, and you don't feel attacked. You feel like, "Oh, okay," and you can flow.
yes. Is there anything else that you want the listeners to know or something that you're led to say before we close out?
The one thing that comes to my mind is that when we can be in connection with ourselves, when we can know ourselves and always realize we have a choice and that the world around us can move and do whatever they do, and we can still be okay with ourselves and not be as bothered by all the outside stuff, that I think that we can create an amazing world.
That's beautiful. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for being on my podcast. It's been
Thank
such
you
a
for having me,
pleasure.
Felicia.
Yes, I will definitely link all of your amazing things in the show notes. So make
Thank
sure
you.
to check out Michelle and get her book. And thank you again for being on here.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review so that we can connect with more people to develop our mind, body, and spirit.